Hi, I'm Diane Dressback, and I have Kimber Lee with me today, and we are interviewing Laurie Love. And Laurie is a chapter writer for the compilation book From Us for You, Inspiring Stories of Healing, Growth, and Transformation. So thank you for being with us today, Laurie. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So my first memory of you, my first exposure to you was on the set of a film that you were doing back in 2009, I think it was. Crushed Velvet. Yes. And I was friends with Bivas, and he was acting across from you in the one scene in the warehouse there. And so he says, "Oh, you want to go?" And I remember going on set. And I know Brian obviously was a director. It was really exciting because that was probably at that point the biggest set I had ever been on. It was wonderful. So,
That's
um,
awesome.
so why don't you give us a brief introduction about yourself?
Okay. My name is Laurie Love, and I currently am the creative director and producer of Skiba Vision Films. I am also an actress, a writer, and a stunt performer, and independent filmmaker, Jill of all trades, master of none. But I love what I do, and I am just blessed to have this as a career.
That sounds great, Laurie. And so I didn't know you were, well, wait, I did know you were a writer writing films, but have you ever written in the aspect of which you've submitted to From Us For You before?
It is something that has been on my mind, something I've wanted to do, but I have not written for books. This is a new venture for me, and something that I felt very connected to, and fair to share what I've been through and my process and healing throughout this journey, and hopes that it could help others.
So I'm taking a little bit of snippet from your chapter. Can you give us, I think it's about healing, but can you just give me a little more info?
My chapter is actually about illness and career. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and heavy metal toxicity. And this chapter talks about my journey through juggling a career and illness at the same time, and being successful.
Wow, that's going to inspire a lot of people out there, because a lot of people don't go, they get ill and don't get diagnosed. So they continually wonder what is, going on with their bodies. So this is amazing. And after you wrote it, what did it feel like for you? Did you love it? Will you write again?
I absolutely loved it. Yes, I will write again. This process has been amazing. It opened my eyes to another aspect of being able to speak from a personal space in my heart and myself, and sharing my journey. And a lot of other men and women actually experience this. It's not something that a lot of people talk about. It's not something that the medical community really recognizes very well, but it's something that needs to be addressed. And I feel that it wouldn't be fair for me to get well and not tell anyone else about it.
Wow, thank you for that, because that is so true. Are you using a more holistic approach to healing, or are you doing Western textbook?
I'm using a holistic approach to healing. It's something that's very important to me. I feel there's a lot of natural abilities to heal. There's a lot of different sources we can pull from to use to heal, body, mind, and soul. But a natural way of doing it is something that I wanted to do, because through normal Western medicine practices, I was going nowhere, and I wasn't finding any help, and I was just a hamster in a wheel.
I understand that. And I also use holistic healing. I think it's amazing because there's natural things from the earth that are meant for our bodies to be consuming. And not that there's anything wrong with Western. I just think that people are individuals, and certain things work better and get better results. So thank you for sharing. I can't wait to read your chapter. And so with that being said, Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Will there be a book out there by Laurie Love? Because we've seen so many of your wonderful films. So what does your professional life look like?
Thank you. I've just had some amazing things fall into my lap recently, and I do see myself releasing a book within the next 5 years, specifically related to the illnesses that I've been living with for a long time. I definitely have more movies coming soon. So that'll be happening, and I hope to continue being successful and hopefully inspiring other women to go for it.
Yeah,
To be the best.
absolutely. Well, you've inspired me, so thank you so much. And I love following your career. You're stunning, you're talented, and I am so happy. I cannot wait to read this book.
Thank you, Kimber.
We're friends on Facebook, and I saw that you posted that the cartwheels, the cartwheels that you did, and the backflip, and the I don't know what all the the jumping up and I mean, what a testament! What a testament to come through something so difficult and debilitating, and to be able to do that. And I mean, that's fabulous. And you do stunt work, so tell us a little bit about the stunt work.
I do stunt work, and it's kind of crazy because 5 years ago there was days that I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even move. It took me all day to do dishes. I took breaks, and I didn't think I was ever going to get out of that deep, dark hole that I was in, and mentally and physically. And then now I'm sitting here throwing myself, out of cars and onto the concrete and getting hit by, other actresses with bats and, and wood and everything. And it's just absolutely wild. And I'm just enjoying every minute of it, and just so happy my body can move, and just so grateful and thankful.
What has been the hardest stunt that you have ever done?
Oh, I'd
Not
say
that any of those are easy.
Right.
I've done lots of my own stunts throughout the years until I became ill. However, I've been stunt doubling lately, and I think the hardest stunt that I did was for the second, and that was literally, running and throwing myself onto the asphalt and rolling, down the street. So, it was just completely physical, and, it had to be timed. There was motorcycles and cars in a chase as I was doing it. So, everything had to fall into place, and it was incredible. And, I did it 3 times, and it worked out. Can't even tell it was me. So I did my job.
I couldn't tell it was you.
Yes, and I can see the poster in the background for the second, and I watched the film. We loved it. It's really action-packed, great storyline, wonderful talent in it. So for the audience that's watching, if you haven't watched the second, you better.
Check it out.
And where's it at, Laurie? Where can they watch it?
You can find it basically on any streaming platform. Amazon, Netflix, Redbox, Voodoo, all of those, platforms, you can find that there.
And I think it was #1 on one of the platforms. Was it Netflix?
Yes, actually, it was #1. It charted #1 nationally on VOD, digital downloads, iTunes, and Amazon. So it stayed #1 for 3 weeks through Labor Day weekend, and it beat out other studio films like Bill and Ted's and, those big guys. So that, for an independent film alone is incredible. And it was just, for us filmmakers, getting to that point was just, amazing and shocking. That it made us feel like we were doing a good thing.
Yeah, that's a huge win for independent.
We've been asking all of our authors this question, and that is, a lot of times we have failures in our lives, things that we feel that we've failed at, and yet we've learned something really profound. We've learned something about ourselves. Can you think of maybe one of those failures that you learned from, that it's almost like you're glad it happened because you're a better person for it.
I honestly have to say, this illness, although it wasn't a failure, it was a blessing that I dealt with. It took me out of my career, out of my dream. And I kind of, for a time, let it consume me. And I've forgotten what it was that I loved about me and what I had to offer and my skills and my talent and my, the set of, education that I had. And it was overwhelming. And through this, I found, I lost a love for myself. And through this, I found a way to love myself again and realize my inner strength and my inner power, and to just hang on to my dreams with that little grain of, sand that I had left. And I just held it and I held it and I held it until, it turned into a pearl. And that for me was, when I woke up and realized what was going on and fought for myself and started to love myself again and followed my dreams and never let go and just kept going and fighting. And I think that's where I learned the biggest lesson of my life.
All these stories that Diane and Melissa Farley and I are hearing, and I know Diane will agree with this, that particular question, all the women, their answers are just so inspiring and empowering. And it will help so many people out there that are in your same position and don't know where to turn or how to get out.
When I was figuring out what was going on, and I was at my sickest, I decided to try meditation, which I never had done before. I didn't believe my mind could literally stop and focus. I just didn't. And I couldn't think anyway, because there was so much going on and so much pain that I just couldn't think anyway. And so I tried the meditation, and the meditation asked me to look at my past self, when I was at my worst, at my sickest, and then look at my future self, how I see myself 10 years down the road, the happiest, the healthiest, the most vibrant, the most vital, and to come together with your past self and your future self. And your future self was to give your past self the biggest hug that you've ever had in your life, and that you feel so much love, and that you're supposed to thank yourself for doing the things that it took to get to where you are now. Okay. And that was the most powerful thing that changed my life.
Okay, I'm good. I'm crying.
Wow.
So here I am as the future self.
Yes, you are. You give yourself a big hug there for sure.
Yes. And oh my God, virtual hug over here too. This is, wow, Laurie, it's very, very empowering and impactful. And also too, for anybody that's listening, there's also a type of healing called sound therapy, because our bodies are made up of vibrations. And because of that vibrational aspect of ourselves, when we listen to sound therapy, which is a sound vibration, it kind of puts everything back into its original order of working universally and healing. So that's another thing that's something holistically that I use when I'm out of sorts, physically, emotionally, or spiritually. And when you're done with that, and they're called binaural beats, or isotonic tones. You can Google them and look them up, but great for migraines, anything that's an illness or puts you out of sorts.
While you were having to deal with all of this, I know you have children and you have a husband, and how was that? How was it in the family? I mean, were you pushing yourself, or did they kind of give you some space? Or it's hard to be a mom and be sick. I remember those days.
It is. And, I actually, I really hid it. I didn't want my kids to be scared. I didn't want my husband to worry because, you know, he had to leave, you know, state for work at the time. And, you know, I wanted him to follow his dreams, to support our family. And I was too proud to ask for really any help. And, you know, I kept thinking this was going to go away. And if this is just, you know, part of being a new mom, and, you know, these pains, these things are normal, and I just have to deal with it. And, you know, the doctors weren't giving me any answers. They're just like, yeah, it's normal. And so I just went, well, there's nothing I can do. So I just have to live like this. This is going to be my life now. So I just did everything I could with every ounce of being that I had. And it was a great disservice to myself to do that. I wish I would have reached out. I wished I would have, you know, asked for help. I wish I would have really fought for myself at the time I needed to, until it got almost too late. And, you know, those were those lessons that I learned there. It was extremely difficult to do, but you know what? I did it. And
Yeah.
you know, that's all I can say.
Yeah, I think it's really really hard sometimes, especially, you know, you being very independent and all of us being very independent, to have, it's just hard to admit that, yes, we do need things. And, you know, I always have so much admiration for those that are very open, and, you know, they have no problem saying, hey, I need help here, I need help there. And, you know, and if we could all just be a little bit better at doing that, that would be better. Oh.
Mhm.
I have one final question for you.
Okay.
And that is, while you were writing the chapter for the book, was there anything that you learned about yourself, or something new about yourself while you were writing, besides that you love writing?
You know, I did. I learned that I need to be more open with how I feel, especially, you know, even with my husband. Um, you know, I was a little bit unrealistic with what I could accomplish and, you know, what I couldn't. But what I did learn is how strong I really was, and that I had so much power within me, within my mind set, within myself, to make changes for myself that, you know, now I look back and I say, oh my gosh, you know, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for doing that, because if I, you know, if I would have given up, there was a time where I felt like literally giving up. I didn't think I was going to make it past my 40th birthday. You know, I didn't know what the future was. I was writing my will. It was just so much, but I just, you know, if you hang on, if you really hang on and you really fight for yourself and you believe you can get through it and you take the steps to do it, I learned that I can. And that was the biggest lesson that I learned after writing this.
Wow.
Powerful interview.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I'm so glad that you had that reaction. Um, I mean, I'm hearing reactions from people that I never even thought of when I was, you know, I was like, hey, let's do this idea, you know, let's have this idea for a book. And it's like so heartwarming to me to be able to, you know, hear of the stories and how much it helped people grow, and or they realize something, or, you know, so I can't wait to get the book out there and share yours. Yeah, I can't wait to share your story and Kimber's story and everybody else's story. And you know, get people reading so we can inspire hope and encourage them. So yeah. So thank you so much for coming on and talking with Kimber and I, Laurie. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate it too. Much love.
Yes. So, and thank you for watching. If you would like to find out more information about the book, you can go to FromUsForYou.com, and all the details will be there. So thank you so much, and make it a hopeful day.